Today, a 29-year-old man from Tennessee named Lee Edward Denny died of his injuries at a hospital following showing up at a Burbank McDonald's with a firearm. He was responded to by police officers. He lunged out of a window, jumped out of a window, did not injure any of the officers, and shot himself, which led to his death. Now, they've done a little bit of digging into his past, and I'm looking around here. There was something on here. I don't know if it was this source or not. I'm on the Los Angeles Times. Uh, Vehicle, Burbank. Anyways, they were talking about his past and everything related to that. It kind of has me in disarray, just at the idea that you hear so much about places like Chicago or Baltimore, these different areas that have their, their good points, but also their problems, and those problems are mainly due to the amount of killings and deaths by guns that occur over there. But in this case, you have someone who, even though their death was by a gun, as was the case with those shootings I just mentioned in those aforementioned cities, it's important to note that he chose to end his own life. So really, this seemed to me to be a publicized suicide attempt, in the sense that you want to attract attention to yourself and from the people around you. Now, it's saddening to me that someone who has that weapon chooses to use it on a human being, and that can include themselves. But at the end of the day, he had the option to kill himself. I believe people have the choice to end their own life if they feel they want to, even though most of us would not want them to, depending on who it is. But at the same time, I really don't believe he should have made it a public spectacle. In the end, I'm just glad that none of the officers who responded to that were injured. That's the one good thing to take away from this. And I certainly hope that whoever was just around that area at that time, because I highly doubt it was just cops in there. I think there were, I don't want to say normal people, but just average citizens in that area at the time of that incident. I hope they're all okay. If they're in any way scathed, I hope they recover, be it physically, emotionally, regardless. I am just in their favor to the max at this point. And I really am just sitting here kind of trying to assess how many shootings we're going to have, or how many incidents involving guns are going to fester before we actually do something about these weapons. Now, this is an unfortunate incident, don't get me wrong, but it pales in comparison to the tragedy in Orlando, especially when those people wanted to live. Whereas this perpetrator did not, and the perpetrator for the Orlando shooting didn't seem to care one way or the other. So I'm hoping and just wishing that we can get to a point where people will say enough is enough. Let's actually do something about these laws, or let's do something to correct the problem. I'm not talking about ban off all guns. I'm talking about just trying to reform the system, seeing what works and what doesn't. Hoping for people to come together on that, even though it seems unlikely. But you have to remain optimistic and look up to something, or look forward to something. Because if you don't, then there's nothing to live for, as is the case right here. So thank you for watching, and have a good day.